Hi everyone, this is James from the Freemasons, and we're just going to briefly take you on a little tour of the final page and multi-track effectively of Tears in the Rain. As most of you probably know, we've been working on this for a hell of a long time. So we're just going to take you through the final version and some of the bits that are in it. As you can see, there's quite a lot in here now. It's gone through multiple stages, but we just wanted to, we weren't going to stop until we just had certain bits right, particularly this bit down here on the right, which is the middle break. We just really wanted that to open up and become quite soulful. So look, I'll play you through and then we'll just talk about some of the bits in it.
Trouble. I didn't want to cause you any shame, and all of my excuses are just tears in the rain. I didn't want to cause you any trouble. I didn't want to cause you any shame, and all of my excuses are just tears in the rain.
Now I'm just going to stop there. Everyone kind of knows that bit. I just want to play you this particular section as it comes out of that first full-time section and into effectively what is the first verse, because this took a very long time to just kind of get right.
I didn't want to cause you any trouble. I didn't want to cause you any shame.
And we really just wanted to change a feel there, so it's kind of gone quite soulful, almost gospel, I suppose, to a certain degree because of the chords. So let me show you what's making some of that up. We've got a fabulous low piano, which is from a sample library of the piano that was used on Miles Davis's classic album before it got taken out of a New York studio, believe it or not. Oh, a bit of distortion on there as well. Got some organ. And Catherine down here.
I didn't want to cause you any trouble. I didn't want to cause you any shame.
And one of the things that's driving this through the whole time is this sound that we made in FM8 off the back of a brilliant website called FM8 Tutorials, which really sort of shows you how to dig into certain synths, particularly obviously the FM8, but it's the sister website for a massive tutorial site which will teach you how to use certain bits of Native Instruments Massive. So it's this thing that kind of runs through the whole track. Nicely sidechained there as well, but it's got a real crunch to it, and that kind of thing you can only really get out of the FM8. There's nothing else that really does that kind of stuff. Now back to the front here. This pad was actually these were actually the starting points for the whole record, and they were created as part of some work we were doing for creating a sample pack for Loopmasters, and it's actually it's one of the parts in the Loopmasters pack, but we liked it so much that we wanted to use it ourselves, which I think is one of the first times anyone who's made a sample pack has actually used their own material. We hope anyway, but yeah, that was really So that really was a starting point for the whole thing and led to the chord sequence that built this. Now I just want to quickly jump into this middle section, because here we're really proud of kind of how we did this. Let me just play it through, because we've kind of extended out from where we were from previous versions. So this is the last vocal section, and we just love the way it feels. So let me take you through some of the bits that are actually in that, because we're quite pleased about the way that this particular section turned out. It's quite difficult to do, but this is also proof of how far sample libraries have come in the following years, or in the recent years. So we kind of initially built a fake sample that's now got a bit crunched up, but it's in here. So it starts off with just a brass section. And you can hear a sample coming up underneath. Then, as I say, this is something we completely created from scratch for this. Very crunchy vintage drums at the top. There's also a couple of other bits coming in, because as we went through this, and this has been in multiple versions, that particular section here got a bit crunchy by the end of it. So we decided to add a few more bits. So we've got cleaner brass sections here doing the same thing, and this wonderful high string arpeggio. Even looks smooth. We may even do a Motown version of this at some point as well, because the chords tend to lead in that direction. But this kind of shows you, I mean, that by itself doesn't sound, oh, automation just written in there. By itself doesn't sound too great. It's alright, it's a nice brass section. That's actually the new Native Instruments brass section. There's a Rickenbacker bass in there. A lot of this is from the Native Instruments libraries, but it just kind of shows you that when you add it all together, and these oohs are actually, we've been looking for a kind of sampled ooh pack for ages, and we really wanted to put them in a day. We didn't have time to get session people in or anything like that, and I found them online in a kind of weird Reason refill. So now by themselves, not exactly convincing, but you shove it in the whole thing. I do need to say something about the strings. Actually, we've started using the Spitfire audio strings. These are actually, the fast ones are from a kind of mixture of the new Sable strings and some of their older libraries. They're incredibly accurate, recorded at Air Studios, so they sound beautiful, and you can do some fabulous top line stuff and all of this fast kind of so that's it. There's plenty. I won't go through all the drums and bass or anything like that. These are the kind of the interesting parts of the mix. Everything else is fairly standard, but what we are going to do is probably provide this in multi-track format. we're thinking of actually generating this as a very small number of stems for Ableton Logic and probably for GarageBand too, and possibly even GarageBand for iPad, just as a tester to see what goes. So if any of you are interested in that kind of thing, do comment beneath. Alright, well, we hope you enjoy it when you actually see the full thing. We are going to crack on and finish this off now.